it has been a very tough month for the Fighting Nerds, as we've kind of talked about already a little bit throughout this month. We're at the point now, like kind of all their big guns have started to fizzle out a little bit. Hype train has slowed. It was rolling before. Are they who we thought they were, Eric?
Well, they were 19 and 0 in the UFC at one point, the Fighting Nerds. Obviously, the gym started by Cal Borhalio back in 2014. They've fallen on hard times. They've all lost within in this summer. If you count, I believe Ian Gary and Praches fought in May at Kansas City. But regardless,
Throughout the year.
yeah, something close to that. Anyway, are they what we thought they were? Well, they're not a bunch of world beaters, right? They're, like Habib's group, right, with Habib and Islam Makhachev. They are who we thought they were. They are pretty much undefeated. Islam got knocked out in his, I believe, his second UFC fight, way back in the day. In
More
like
than a decade ago at this point,
yeah, it
yeah.
was a long time ago. Flash knockout, and then after the fact seems kind of fluky more than anything. And then obviously Habib had never lost. So are we putting them at that level? No. Are we not saying? Are we saying that they're an elite camp? Yeah, we could still say that they're an elite camp, but this is a real big fall off for them. Four losses, I believe, in the span of 5 months, and I would love to know like what they're saying to each other through this. They all have kind of lost under, not so much similar circumstances, but they lost in the striking. Borjalio lost in the striking to Imavov, was not active enough, and then Gene Silva kind of punched himself out in this fight against Diego Lopez. He kind of got stupid. That was the best way that I could describe it. He got stupid. He felt like he had Diego Lopez on the ropes, but he didn't. And I think that is a fight IQ thing, which would go back to coaching, where it's, why are you charging in with 30 seconds left in the round? Lopez not as hurt as you thought. I mean, Gene Silva was beat up after that fight, and there was bad blood there too, which I thought was interesting as well. Yeah,
Even immediately after the fight. Yeah, they couldn't.
immediately after the fight
John Silva
too.
had trouble settling down.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
I was worried it was going to be a Paul Daly, Josh Koscheck
Ooh,
situation.
baby, it kind of was. It was almost like that, maybe like a tenth of what that was,
It
though.
was close to it. If Dana was in the house, I don't know how he feels about that, but who knows?
Agreed.
Maybe he's cooled off of the whole, like we're gonna ban him forever kind of deal off of
Yeah.
that. Who knows? I don't know. I want to go back to something you said though. This is the fact that you still see the Fighting Nerds as an elite team. I don't necessarily agree with you. I don't see them as an elite team. I think they're a very good team. I think they're a solid team. I think of elite teams, I think of American Top Team. I'm thinking of that like upper tier with a lot of establishment and championship and that kind of thing. AKA, I think you can throw in there as
Yep.
well.
Excellent.
These TriStar. These are kind of obviously they come and go and they up and down based on the talent that they get in. A lot of it is coaching and a lot of it is the talent, right? I think what we have here with the Fighting Nerds is the glasses are a great gimmick, right? It gave them a little extra notice, a little bit of identity that a lot of teams just don't have. So you start to remember them a little bit more. They're fun. They were winning. But now once they have hit like a certain level, they're not measuring up, right? So I do think there is a little bit of an overratedness to what the Fighting Nerds, what we thought of them as, but still a solid collection of talent with some upside. They're bringing in a little bit more new blood, which I think is a good thing. They brought in Mikhail Shachek over from Poland. I want to see a little bit more of mixing in some new blood from there and some new ideas and new perspectives and that kind of thing. I think that can only help a team, based again, I'm an outsider, right? I'm not a fighter. But we've seen it before. You bring in some fresh ideas, it can really help. And maybe that's the type of thing that can start bringing them to the next level. Maybe they needed adversity too, dude. Maybe that's just what it is. They needed to lose to know what they needed to do to be able to win more, you know?
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, as Mike Tyson famously once said.
I've
Let's
never
see.
heard that.
Um, yeah, I'm interested to see what their plan is now that they've sustained a couple losses here. At one point, I was ready to put them up there with like a city kickboxing, where it's, like a new team coming on the block, but now you kind of can't put them there because they don't have any champions. Israel Adesanya was a champion for a long time. Volkanovski, a two-time champion now. So, Borjalio is the leader of this team, and I would say that he is going to need to be the one to kind of lead them back into the conversation at the top levels of mixed martial arts. So it's going to be on him, and that's a tough, tough place to be.